Hello, everyone. I am honored to have Dr. Renée Carr back again. We hit it off, and she had so much information to share because she's known as the problem solver. Dr. Renée Carr is a political advisor and a psychologist. So we're here today, another episode of Living Life with James, to be able to get into some holiday talk. So, Dr. Renée Carr, thanks for being here, and I can't wait to hear your insights, tools, and tips on how to navigate the holidays.
Yes, thank you for having me. And I think we both had the memo to dress holiday-like. So I put on my little festive earrings, and you have on your green shirt. So, we're in sync.
We're ready for this.
Yes.
You know, I'm glad you're here because I wanted to talk about the topic of just holidays are here. This is a follow-up from us talking politics and the election. This is post-election. And I'm wondering tools or tips or what you think is the best way to help us navigate the holidays and or family friend gatherings.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can navigate the holidays depending on how you go into it. So do you want to go into it being festive and celebratory or confrontational? And so you can decide how you go into the family gathering. And if you want to just have fun, relaxation, not thinking about anything politics, not creating family or political division, then just go from a mindset of being on a vacation. Imagine yourself on a holiday cruise. So the only difference about who you are when you go away on holiday versus when you stay home is that your mindset. You go into the vacation thinking, I'm leaving everything behind. Everything is on a hard stop. I'm going to just enjoy life. I'm going to refuse negativity. I'm going to refuse drama. So if you go into it with that mindset, then you'll be a lot easier able to enjoy it.
I love that. You said mindset's the key. And what a great analogy, think of vacation, because I'm going to be relaxed. I'm going to try to let things go, kind of, put the work emails on pause. I'm preparing myself. Same with the holidays. You're saying, let's kind of get into the mood. Am I going to celebrate this? What do I want this to look like? I have the power. Hashtag choices.
Hashtag choices. That's right. Also hashtag cookies. So you can always have an extra cookie or extra dessert to help you get into the holiday mood too.
Really take it in, right? Live in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'm wondering your thoughts. So this is kind of this idea of how to navigate through family and friend gatherings. What are your thoughts with just mental health and the holidays and thinking about it, mental health in the holidays and how people can kind of cope, or maybe the stressors? How about that? What are the stressors for the holidays for some people?
Right. A lot of people are stressed and depressed during the holidays. If they're depressed because they don't have someone to love, or they might have lost a significant loved one or a family member. And the holidays is all about family, a lot of families and religious holidays, which is all about gathering. And so if you've lost a loved one, holidays can be very hard because you feel the void in your life. You also can have people who are present in your life who are toxic. And that can cause stress because you have a family ideal, but yet your family can be abusive or toxic or just distant. And so then you have to face the realization that, well, yeah, I do have my family, but it's not the kind of family that's loving or that I would even want to be around. So then you have to think about, okay, well, then what do I have that I can make for myself a safe celebratory place? And it may be distancing yourself from family members. And remember, if you're having a religious holiday, the holiday shouldn't just be celebrating the holidays religiously for just that one day or that 1 month. It should be 365. So then if that's the case, focus on, am I being religious, meaning just following traditions for just no reason, or is this a personal belief system? If it's a personal belief system and you have toxic family members or you have loved ones who are no longer with you, then don't put so much on the holiday as a day to celebrate your religion, but focus on, this is just another day, and I won't put any extra emphasis to make it religious, but I'll just make it part of my spiritual background.
Thank you, Dr. Carr. I mean, what a way to really break it down. I have to say, I literally just had a moment. just to get personal for a second, I lost both of my parents within a year, my dad just being in August. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, I just had a moment because you mentioned this concept of grief and loss. And, I was hearing and talking to clients, and we need to remember that, the
That's
holidays aren't just about festivities and celebrations. For some, it can be loneliness, it can be
mhm,
grieving. There are, religious components to it. As you said, it's bigger than just the
right,
days. It's a 365. It's thinking about all of these things, bigger picture than just being in that moment. So
right.
here's to remembering that here's to remembering that not everybody's on the same page as you, right?
Mhm,
That
mhm.
some people could be going through sadness, loss, being alone. Some people could be going through some financial strains and may not be
Right,
able to celebrate. There's family dynamics. There's so many
right.
different components to this. So I think being sensitive, right,
Mhm,
to
mhm.
understanding that yes, enjoy the holidays as best as you can. I'm festive. I love it, but there's a lot going on for different people.
And I think that that's good you mentioned about the financial constraints. So you shouldn't fall into a corporate Christmas, meaning that you are spending your hard-earned money to benefit someone else's bottom line, when really family celebration and gatherings or just your personal relaxation and vegging out and watching Netflix could be, or 90 Day Fiance catching up on, and that could be what you do instead. And also, so
Yeah,
don't have a corporate Christmas, don't have a, if you don't celebrate Christmas, then don't have a hedge fund Hanukkah or a hedge fund holiday. Just
yeah.
don't focus on the financial part, whether you have a lot or little. Focus on the emotional connection and the celebration part. Even if it's
Oh,
just you by yourself, enjoy your life and celebrating the holiday and what you can.
enjoy you. That oh my God, say that again. I'm going to say it again. The emotional connection. That is so important because we get so caught up. I love that you're saying this idea of a corporate Christmas. The reality I hear from so many people, we can get caught up in wanting things to be perfect. I
Right.
want that perfect holiday, and there's so much more to it.
Yes. And redefine what is a perfect holiday. If your
Mm,
definition of a perfect holiday fits a corporate Christmas, then you need to redefine what a holiday of happiness looks like for you. And
there
that
you
way,
go.
you're not trying to strive towards some corporate ideal or some media made holiday that's unrealistic and that's only financially driven rather than family driven or celebratory driven or just peace driven.
As you're saying that, let's take a moment to
Mhm.
reflect on the holidays and what we want it to look like.
That's right. Redefine your happiness, redefine your happy holiday.
Redefine living for this. That's such a good point. Thank you for saying that. Again, problem solver, Dr. Carr. You got the tips and the tools. I'm living for it. Let's pivot a little bit and let's talk about how to set boundaries. As we're mentioning these topics, what are some practical ways to set boundaries around these topics as the holidays are here?
So, in order to set boundaries, you have to believe that you are worthy of saying yes and worthy of saying no unapologetically, even if that means it's family members. So that may mean I enjoy myself and my time, my freedom, my doing nothingness enough that I can say no without having to justify saying no, going to a holiday gathering, going to an office party, unless it's a worst part of your job. But
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
believe that you have enough value in yourself that you can say no, then you can establish a boundary. But if you don't have higher self esteem or higher self confidence, then you're more likely to believe that you have to be a reactor to life rather than a progressive, person who is
Oh,
being dominant. And so
there you
you're
go.
responding and you're reacting rather than being proactive. And so if you let everyone else tell you where you have to go, who you have to be around, who you have to talk to during the holidays, then you're being a reactor rather than a proactive participant in your own happy holiday. So
There you
recognizing
go.
boundaries can be, I value myself and I appreciate all that I have to offer so much that I can say no without having to judge or justify myself.
I can say no with grace.
Hmm.
I actually just read somewhere, no is a full sentence,
That's
no
right.
period, no
That's
exclamation.
right.
That's it.
Yeah, no period. That's right.
Yeah.
Not
You know,
no dot dot dot.
right.
Yeah.
And a part of this, I think, as you're with family and you're going to gatherings, another boundary could be setting time limits.
Yes.
Getting to a party or being with family and being like, oh, we have to be somewhere by 8 p.m. That
Yes.
is a boundary.
Yes. Yes. And you can go into it. So a good strategy is to go into a party that you don't want to be in, but you want to at least still say hi and be cordial or be graceful. You say, oh, hey, I wanted to stop by. I have 30 minutes, and then so you might actually have an hour, but just, as far as negotiation tips, you never give all that you have up front. So say, for example, you want to be at the party for only 1 hour. You say, okay, I have 30 minutes that I can be here. And so then whenever you stay an extra 15 minutes after you've announced that you had to leave in 30 minutes, then you seem more gracious and then that you were really enjoying the party and staying for longer than what you wanted. But you have to inoculate by going in and saying, oh, I only can be here for 30 minutes. I have another obligation. Oh,
This is
no.
what it needs to look
Yeah.
like for me.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. You can do
Hmm.
that.
That's brilliant. Now, here's the other question. As people are sitting around the table at as people are sitting around the table at holiday, oh my gosh, I'm getting tongue tied. As people are sitting around the table at holiday gatherings, if things start to become maybe difficult or trying, again, we are about to approach the inauguration and politics come up.
Mhm.
How could people handle these sensitive or uncomfortable topics?
So if you are courageous enough and able to be strong enough to shift the conversation to one of love, and what
Mm,
you could do to, what we call in press conferences is you disarm your opponent. So you have to see the individual who's bringing up a toxic or divisive conversation, and your goal is to disarm them, but disarm them
mm.
with love. And so then what you can say is, you know what I really love? What about if we all just go around the table and say one thing we love about our family? And I love that we all can be here
So
because tomorrow is
smooth.
not promised. So then you
So
disarm the
smooth.
person who wants to be rah, rah, rah. You make an announcement of love or family or tradition or friendship. And then you take the conversation and say, let's go around the table and have each person say one thing they love about themselves or about
Yeah.
our family or that you're grateful for.
I love that vision. And I think that's going to be really helpful, right? Disarm. So if
Yes.
my job is not only to disarm, but to disarm with love, right? I'm going to kind of, as my new word is, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to
Mhm.
pivot and help this conversation.
Right.
And to your point, something else going through my mind is I am going to maybe be an active listener through this process opposed to
Yes.
reaction. I'm
Yes.
going to be cautious of my reactions in this
That's
moment.
right. That's right. Yeah. And be determined with boundaries, not letting anyone infiltrate your peace surroundings and that
Mm.
you and just don't let them have that power.
This is protected.
That's right. This is the
I
love
need
zone. This is the
the love
happiness zone.
zone, Dr.
This is the
Carr.
extra cookie zone.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
No
that's a
haters.
great way to look at this.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I would love to give tips are as we're going through all this, how do we just stay present? How do we stay mindful during the holidays? Because, I have to shop for gifts. I got to talk to friends and family. I have to decorate. We got to go and do this activity and that activity and take it all in. How can we just be in the moment and be present?
I think again, redefine for yourself what does a happy holiday look like? So, what does
Mm,
happiness look like to you? And what does a holiday look like to you? And then you
mm,
have on the next part of your paper, so you define happiness, define holiday, and then define a happy holiday. And once you have those three combinations, then you can say, okay, well, then if that's the case, then me rushing to go to find this last minute thing on sale, does that add to my happiness, my definition of happiness or a holiday or holiday happiness? If not, then just don't do it. So then you can be present by first determining what is most meaningful to you rather than
mm.
chasing these arbitrary goals that you set up or followed because you're told that you have
We're
to.
getting ready for this. I like that idea. It's again, go back to this idea of our mindset, right?
Mhm.
Our preparing ourselves. We want this to look like. And I think that right there is going to be able to allow us to just be present. And
Right.
and listen, the reality is if we get caught up, and I know people can get
Mhm.
caught up in the moment, I think there's something to be said about literally just taking a step back,
Mhm.
allowing yourself some deep breaths, right?
Mhm.
Allowing yourself to maybe just take a break, right, from
Right.
everything that's going on.
Right.
I just talked to another therapist named Tara, and we were
Mhm.
talking about how to just cope in general with and be mindful. And she said music, and
Yes,
I
that's very true.
yeah, I love music. And so as we're going through this, whether we prepare in advance or not, taking a break and saying, I'm just going to savor this song right now. I'm going to sit in the
Mhm.
car. I'm going to
Mhm.
blast it in the house and just
Mhm.
have a moment to reset.
Right. 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 And be mindful of the kind of music that you listen to. If it's about heartbreak and a lot of beats that are really, really frantic, then that might make you more anxious than calm.
This is true. This
But
is true.
if you're angry, then those beats can help you kind of get rid of that frustration. So monitor what is your emotional experience and then make your music choice to be what you want it to be. So if you want to be calm, then let me choose a calm, soothing, song or playlist.
That again, that awareness. Thank you for saying that. I'm going to share just a little personal note. I remember many, many years ago sitting
Mhm.
on a train after a breakup, and I was playing,
Mhm.
Mariah Carey's saddest hits, and I was going through it. And
Right,
to
right.
your point, I had to, slap myself in the face and say, James, you're bringing yourself down. What are you doing? And I had to throw on, some, techno music, club
That's
music
right.
with a different beat. But in
That's
that
right.
moment, the point is awareness and what it's doing to your mood,
Mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm.
So I think I love that you said that because it's going to be so important as we're going through this to not only take a break, be aware of what we're doing, aware of the music and how that can affect
Yes.
our space.
And you can get caught up and you're like, oh, I forgot about that. I'm supposed to be calm. I'm supposed to be having, woo-saw moment. So then maybe what you could do is just set your timer for every, night. You have 30 minutes going off to just relax and reflect.
Mm,
And that can help you recenter and say, well, did I really spend this today how I want to be happy holiday or a happy holiday? And if not, okay, well, then I'll just do better tomorrow.
these are brilliant, Dr. Carr. I can't thank you enough. The one last thing going through my mind is
Mhm.
thinking about people that may be lonely. We touched on
Yes.
that, or may have some sadness or dealing with loss. How how could you, or what suggestions would you give someone in that situation to possibly look or find some joy, peace?
Mhm.
Uh, I'll just say joy and peace. I was going to say happiness, but just joy and
Right.
peace
Just
as they're
join in.
going through these moments.
So one thing is to recognize that sadness and loss and grief is normal and to embrace that, you know what, it's the holidays, but I'm not happy. And don't punish
Mm,
yourself for not being happy. Like say, I'm going to be honest that this sucks, that I'm angry that the person, died or left me,
yeah.
but I can still be okay with that. So if you're just honest and you accept that reality rather than I have to force myself to be happy, if you're experiencing one emotion and it's sadness, grief, or anger, and you're trying to make yourself be happy, it's actually going to increase your depression because you're
Mm,
trying to force yourself to experience an emotion that is not
great
authentic to
point.
what you're feeling. So then what you can do is say, you know what, this grief is normal, this grief is healthy, and it's okay to not be happy during the holidays. And
That
then just
level of acceptance. I'm just going to sit with this.
that's right. That's right. But also say, I'm going to sit with it. But if I believe that I'm still here for a reason, if I believe that I have life purpose, even though I don't like that I'm still here and the other person is gone, or I'm alone and the other person is living their best life, then I'm going to say, well, okay, well, then what can I do to still experience happiness or some sort of daily pleasure? And it might just be watching a movie,
Yeah.
going for a walk. So accept the unhappiness or the grief, but also I am going to make sure I do self-care, something that I do enjoy or would like to enjoy.
there's a balance in that, right? The self-care, the sitting in it, allowing yourself to feel it without these expectations,
Right.
understanding that self-care is still important to this process. And, as you're saying that, I'm thinking the other piece of that balance is knowing when and how to reach out and the resources that may be
Yes.
available to kind of help you through that moment.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Dr. Carr, thank you so much. So helpful. Holiday tips, how to navigate, yourself, family, friends. I appreciate all of the information you gave us, and I look forward to another talk with you.
See you next year.
See you next year.